Hello, and welcome to the BL Express BL Week in Review. I am your host, BL Songbird. I hope everybody can hear me okay today. Let me know in the chat if the volume is funky. Sooner I know, the sooner that I can fix it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this particular evening's chat. Remember, this is audience Q&A format. For those who are curious, that means that we use the live chat a lot, and I would love to hear how everybody is and what everybody is doing. All right. And hopefully the chat is working. Anyway, hi everybody. Okay, one announcement before we get into things today. There is no live next week. I am going to be in New York. I actually am flying out tonight. The plane takes off at like 11:15, and so I'm here hanging out with you guys for a little while before leaving for the airport, which is crazy. Going to the Heart Killers fan meeting. So on Saturday, I'm going to get to meet First and Cowtongue and Dung and Dunk, the primary cast of the Heart Killers. And then next Monday, I'm also going to that Thai Taste of Thai event. And actually, it seems like there's going to be a lot there, which is awesome. Okay. It even looks like there's going to previews for series that we don't know much about yet. Yeah, that's going to be really, really exciting. So that's happening over the span of these couple of weeks here, which means that my next live will be on July 22nd. So go ahead and put that in your calendars for today. July 22nd. What is going on? I'm so used to seeing everybody chat that I'm kind of curious if maybe there's something wrong with the chat or maybe there's something wrong with the stream. Is there anything going on? Maybe I'll put something into the chat real quick and see what happens. Call function. Okay. It's quiet. Can you guys not hear me again? I'm I'm so awesome. That's exciting. Very cool. Okay, good. Everybody can hear me. Like last week, now I have like little panic attacks about people not being able to hear me. I know, right? The chat was super quiet for a minute. I was like, where is everybody? Normally somebody's saying hi. It was weird for a second talking to myself. Chas, that's awesome that you're going to be at the Heart Killer event in NYC. We will have to maybe say hello. And maybe I'll run into you. I'll be wearing my logo, which if you follow me on social media, you'll know I'll have a shirt on with my little rainbow circle with the bird in the middle of it. So yeah, look me up there. I don't know. Maybe I'll run into lots of people, but I know it's going to be really, really fun. Okay, so that's my announcement. Due to New York, we will have our next fun session on the 22nd, and I will be posting plenty of updates on social media, pictures, short videos, etc., all of the things. Absolutely. So fun. Okay, so I'm only mentioning one upcoming series here, guys. If you'd like to know what's going on and what's coming up, be sure to check out the BL Week in Review article I have on the BL Express website. That article has more of what's coming. I'm also not going to be having an article next week either, so I did plan ahead a little bit and gave you guys some dates with stuff coming up happening next week as well. The one I wanted to mention because it's so unusual. And I don't know if anybody's curious or wants to know more about the genre in general. Let me know. We are getting our first ABO series called Desire, and China, even though they are racking down on Dan Mai authors, from what I understand. And even though things are being taken off the air, fingers crossed that they do not take Revenge Love off the air. Um, Guys, just don't talk about it on social media, okay? I'm watching it quietly, right? We're not talking about it. Let's just leave it that way. Revenge Love should just be enjoyed, and we should just keep it under the radar so we can keep watching it. Anyway, okay, so we have ABO Desired. ABO stands for Alpha Beta Omega. So it is a megaverse. Omegaverse is essentially a world where men can get pregnant, and it tends to lean into some very toxic kind of power structures between the men in those stories. I've seen a few done well where there isn't as much toxicity, but they more or less had to change the rules to make that happen. And this series doesn't seem to have those rules changed. In fact, it looks very toxic. So if you like yourself a really toxic series, that's fantastical, and we all understand this is fiction and it's going to be fantasy, and toxicity can be okay in fantasy. Then this should be a fun series, absolutely. Hello, Asul. Hello, Krishna. Good to see you guys. It makes you wonder why shows are made at all if no one can discuss it. LOL. Well, I think honestly the number of Chinese shows coming out right now, I'm beginning to wonder if it's their way of protesting. It's like me doing all of this, all the social media outreach, continuing to talk about queer series, continuing to be out online on social media is my little protest here in my country, right? So I feel like maybe this is their protest, and definitely worth supporting if that's the case. 1000%, right? All right, so Desired is coming out, and honestly, nobody else has tried it yet. Like, I think Sunset Vibes with Moss and Bank was supposed to be Omegaverse, but they took it out. Pit Babe, supposed to be Omegaverse, but they more or less removed most of it, right? So this one, it doesn't seem like they've removed any of it, and so yeah, this is just them going to the extreme places for us, I guess. And there were actors willing to give it a shot, and there are plenty of people out there who love Omegaverse, and so this series will be for them. Chatting about the 4 series that ended this week. That is right in the last 2 days, not even this week. No, 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 no. Yesterday and Monday, yesterday and the day before. So Sunday and Monday, 4 series ended. It actually left Sunday without any series airing, which is absolutely crazy. I'm like, we went from 3 to 0. Okay, here we go. All right, so this first part of our discussion will be a place where I would prefer if there are no spoilers. For some reason, my video has gone out of focus. Hopefully, it'll snap back in. I'm sorry, guys. Um, So this first part, yep, I'm right there with you yesterday. All I did was cry too, but we'll get there. There will be a spoiler section. Maybe if I zoom in, it'll snap. Ah, see, there it goes. Awesome. Okay. There will be a spoiler section where we can chat more about the individual series, but this is not that yet. So when I announce spoilers, those of you who do not like spoilers, that's your time, that's your cue to like exit. And for those who do like spoilers, that's your cue to like go crazy, right? But this first little bit, I'd love it if we just gave our non-spoilery opinion to everybody on whether or not you think the show is worth watching, so that anybody who watches this live later can get an idea if they'd like to watch that show or not. So the first show is, we're just going to kind of go in order here. We'll start with the Sunday series. The first show is My Stubborn. My Stubborn is a Thai BL drama with 12 episodes and one upcoming special episode. Yes, they announced a special episode at the fan meeting. So if you liked that series, rejoice. We're going to get more. Also, a side note, Boat and Oat, the two main actors, have said that they want to keep working together. So fingers crossed that we'll get more series from them, because their chemistry basically made that show, in my opinion. So it's got 12 episodes. It's um, on ITE, and each episode's about 40 to 50 minutes to an hour long. So, yep, that is that series. So, would you recommend My Stubborn for people to watch? That's the question. And my answer is a certain subset of people would really enjoy that series. I don't think it's for everybody, but however, I do think it's M Flows, which is the production company. I think it's their strongest series that I have personally seen yet. I think the acting was pretty good and the storytelling was stronger and less messy than it's been in the past. And so I think that series is really fun and 18 plus. So if you are under 18, that is not the series for you. And if you are not into basically a series with two stubborn people learning how to work together, then that is not the series for you. All right. Yes, if you like the genre it represents, absolutely, right? It's pretty strong for that genre. And then most definitely, awesome. Okay. The next series is Seasons of Love in Shimane, or I no Kisetsu, whichever. I've seen both titles used in multiple places. And actually, the whole title is I no Kisetsu, Season of Love in Shimane. It is a Thai BL drama set mostly in Japan, which is kind of entertaining. The company there is a season 1 of this show, but I personally don't think you need to watch season 1 to see season 2. I think they did a great job for what it was. It far surpassed season 1 in quality of storytelling and acting. I think the actors have improved as well. A cool side note, I just saw on TikTok that those actors have already said that they have another project coming up in a few months. So that's super fun. We'll get to see some new characters from them. Very cool. Um, yeah, just a really easy watch. But again, very 18 plus. The spice level is off the charts. The the intimate scenes are a lot. So if that kind of thing makes you uncomfortable, then that's not the series for you. So we have two series, My Stubborn and Season of Love in Shimane, that if really, really spicy scenes bother you, then those shows would probably make you uncomfortable. All right. Let's see if anybody else watched Season of Love and Shimane. I enjoyed it, but as you said, I'd recommend it for people that like nice scenery and a bit of NC with some humor. Yuri said that's a good way to put it. It's a simple love story, but at least this season had a love story. And some storytelling. I feel like season one was more of a travel vlog with some spice than a story, whereas this this second season had a really simple, lovely plot to it. So yeah. All right, next is Boys in Love. What did you guys think of Boys in Love? I am pretty sure there will have been more people who have seen Boys in Love. Boys in Love is another, oh, I guess for Seasons of Love and Shimani, I did not mention the things. Oh my goodness, the things. Okay, it's 8 episodes. A little shorter, but each episode still 50 minutes to an hour long. It's available to watch on both WeTV, which here in the United States is 10 cents, and it's also available on Gaga Ulala. Okay. There is Shimini. Okay, onwards to Boys in Love. Boys in Love is 12 episodes. It's from Thailand again. Lots of Thai series ended this weekend. It is a teenage show meant for all ages. You could share it with your teenage kids and be perfectly comfortable having them watch it. In fact, it would be a great show to watch with your kids and then have all kinds of discussions with all of the various topics that were brought up in that series and handled beautifully. I feel like it was one of those series that's designed to teach you something, or to help youth learn about proper ways to communicate with people, which is pretty cool. It is our DMM TV series, so it is available. Actually, it's not on YouTube. This one is available on iQIYI, although I think in some countries it's available on YouTube instead of iQIYI. So if you're not in the United States, it might be on YouTube. Possible. So that's pretty cool. Boys in Love needs a second season. It's on my comfort series list. Yuritsa, yes, I agree. Boys in Love needs a second season. It's on mine as well. I don't know if it was popular enough to get one, but maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll get one anyway. It would be great. Boys in Love had good discussions and themes, but in my opinion, they could have been explored more. Sure. I feel like those kinds of things need more time and episodes to develop. If only these seasons were longer. Although there are some out there who complain already about how long the Thai BL seasons are, so who knows? I guess everybody has their own thoughts about that one, eh? But yeah, yeah, they had three plots in that story, right? So because they were weaving together, no, more like four. They have four primary character plots, like in that series. So maybe if they'd cut it down a little bit, they'd have had more room to build and breathe with one or two of them. But for what it was, I think they did a great job because it's hard to weave that many stories together. And sometimes it's just chaos. And sometimes a lot more is left out. So I feel like in a lot of ways they did a great job. All right, the last show. All right, let's see. I agree. Boys and Loves would perfectly transition to a second season. I adored the show. I would have liked to, Chas, awesome. Katie, I would have liked to see more of the teachers, but also didn't expect to. Yes. Well, I maintain that they need a side spin off series just for those two. Right, because if they did a second season, the second season would see the boys off to college and we would no longer have those two teachers in the cast. So they just need their own side spin-off series, that's all, so we can follow them more. Or like those two actors, Pod and Papang, I hope I got those two names right. They should just have their own new series where they are, I don't know, they could still be in the teacher realm, but like one of them could be a single dad. I don't know. I need that story. I've seen it several times as fan fiction. And I've seen it, I think, as like I think there's a version from Taiwan that isn't gay. It isn't like BL, but it exists. But I need it. I need it as a BL. I need the single dad meets the kid's teacher story to happen. And I think those two would be great for it. All right, I've been sidetracked. The last show of this no spoiler section is did anybody hmm, did anybody finish I Promise I Will Come Back? Um it was a really great series. And hmm I don't want to spoil too much of this series. So, unless you guys okay, hmm what do I say? There were some things that could have been done better in that series, I admit. Okay, so I Promise I Will Come Back is a Thai BL drama again. Is this time it's from a very small production company, and actually the main producer was the main actor. He also wrote the story. From what I understand, he created it to show off his hometown in northern Thailand. And so the whole series is in a northern Thai dialect. And then we also have two Taiwanese actors in there because there's an element of bringing in tourists to the town. And so that's essentially that show. It is 8 episodes long. It is available to watch on WeTV or 10 cents, depending on where you are. And okay, one thing I can say is that if you need to find it, if you haven't seen it but you want to watch it, you want to find it on WeTV. If you type in "I Promise I Will Come Back" and put "come back" as 2 words, you will not find it. It will not show up, which is I have a feeling why nobody's been watching it. You have to put "come back" together as 1 word. So just remember that one. It's really good, and it is. Pay attention. Okay, so I can say it this way in this non-spoiler part. Pay attention to the first 10 minutes of this series and take it very seriously and take it to heart. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so let's see what everybody else has to say. I would have, okay, I was impressed how much of the teachers we did see. That is fair, Chas. Okay, Yuri said it finished me. That's a good way to put it. Okay. So on that note, let's move in to the spoilers section. This is the moment to feel free to like spew all the spoilers for all 4 series. From here on out, if you don't like spoilers or haven't seen any of the series, it's probably the time to say goodbye for today. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks if that's the case. But for those who just want to chat and vent and talk about the series that aired, let's go. All right. So I thought today that we would rank them. I thought that would be a fun way to go. So ranking from 4 to 1. Um, what would you put in 4th place? And we'll go series by series like we normally do. Like we'll go 4th place. I'll wait for you guys to give out your rating in the comments and why. Maybe there's some specific spoilery reason why. So ranking in 4th place. Who would you put there? For me, I would put let's see. Oh yeah, season of Love in Shimane in 4th place. It was a simple story. The acting was better than it had been before, but is still a little bit lower than everybody else this year, this weekend, this little series of series that ended. And I don't know, the last episode left me wanting a little bit. I feel like they just the last episode was a travel vlog. So a travel vlog of Thailand, actually. They'd gone back to Thailand. Everything had been resolved by that time. They'd gone back to Thailand. It was a travel vlog. And it was a cute travel vlog, but I don't know. I think it could have wrapped up in 7 episodes instead of 8. That's just me. Still, easy watch, sweet series. An interesting combination of very sweet and very, very spicy. So there you go. That is Shimane. Yeah, no, the last episode was a tourist vlog, right? Like it reminded me of Billy and Babe and their YouTube tourist vlog. That is exactly what it felt like that last episode. So, I don't know. The rest of it had a plot. It also had a lot of tourist vlog kind of moments, but there was a plot. So that was pretty cool. All right. Third place for me is My Stubborn. This might be where things go south. I might have a difference of opinion than others on this one. I feel like My Stubborn is so popular. Oh, I think for me it was just the genre. They did great for the genre it was in. It was a romp, right? Like we had a lot of stairwell action, so many HR violations. I will always remember the stairwell. Who does that? I can't know. That's not anything that would ever actually happen in real life. But it was entertaining. So we had some stairwell action, and we had two very stubborn men, and the opening scene. OMG. It almost threw me off. I was like, what am I getting myself into? This show. Oh, the opening scene was something. Thank you, Asil. I want to avoid spoilers, so I will leave now. Have a safe and awesome trip. Good time. It's awesome. I'm glad I'm doing that for everybody. Mm. Eureka has, I promise I will come back at number 3. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I rank that one higher. I think because the storytelling, I think I'm stuck on storytelling right now. My what do you call them? Podcast over on Patreon is all about storytelling right now. I'm like taking it as a storyteller, as an author. So I'm talking a lot about plot devices and all kinds of things. So from a storytelling perspective, My Stubborn's GL plot was extraneous for me. I had no need for it. I'm like, why is this even here? And then I think Champ and Ty's story was a little bit more developed, but from what I understand, their story wasn't really in the book, so it kind of makes sense why that story isn't as developed as the main story is. Which I thought the main story was very, very well done. Like the main story, two thumbs up. That those two were really good. I didn't watch My Stubborn. Yuri said the opening was like, "Excuse me." Then I read the novel and was even more slack-jawed. Ah, it's fair. Katie, I didn't watch My Stubborn because I just don't love a lot of NCC, and so it didn't feel like the show for me, which is fine. Yeah, so Katie, for you particularly, Shimane and My Stubborn, neither of those shows would be for you. Um, which is, that's I guess that's why this kind of thing is useful. So those those kinds of small spoilers going in. The GL plot wasn't in the book, and Champ and Ty got together in a tiny story in the epilogue. Okay. See, I haven't read it yet entirely. I think I've read the first 2 chapters so far. Which they really some fan did an excellent translation of this book on Wattpad. It's probably the best translation I've seen. Or maybe possibly just the best written story I've read so far uh, from Thailand. Granted, I haven't read many. I admit it. I read I Feel You Linger in the Air. I read A Tale of a Thousand Stars. And I feel like there's one more. Oh, I read Sodus when the official translation came out. Yeah, I haven't read a lot. So maybe that doesn't say much, but still, it's a really great translation on Wattpad. And then, yeah, so there's those two. Okay, onwards. Boys in Love for me is ranked at number 2. I didn't rank it number 1. I admit it. It's number 2. See, Reed said that's the difference between you and I, because by me saying Boys in Love at number 2, you know what my number 1 is. I'm reading Revenge Love right now. Oh, dang. Is it an official translation or a fan translation? Oh, wait, the source material. Didn't the author say she didn't want any of us to read that? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, the author was just like, please don't read my source material. Oh, Counterattack. That's the name of the Revenge Love source material. How did that pop into my head? I don't know. Okay, anyway. Boys in Love at number 2. It was cutesy. It was sweet. It was lovely. It just didn't hit number 1 for me. The storytelling was really well done, but that just tells you what I thought of number 1. Yeah, but I got sucked in. Ha! That's funny. Well, toxic source material. I'm sure it's pretty fun, actually. I think Toxic is a little easier to read than it is to watch. Okay, so number 2 for me is Boys in Love. Yep, and then number 1, obviously, is I Promise I Will Come Back. I might be a little biased since I did just a couple of hours ago videotape my next episode for the Hidden Gems podcast, which will be about I Will Come Back. It will be very spoilery. We will be talking about the plot structure a little bit and some of the things that were confusing. And I watched it several times because there were a couple of moments of confusion, and then I realized, watched it. I watched bits of it a couple of times. And I realized when I went back to watch the beginning again, uh, something that I missed because the beginning happened 8 weeks ago. Anyway, so yeah, I will be discussing that all on Patreon. So I have one of those free 7-day trial period sign up thingies. So if you want to check out that one particular podcast, you can. This is a very spoilery section. That series does not have a happily ever after. And the fans are divided. Some people think it's the best thing that ever happened. Other people think it is the worst thing that ever happened. And it was kind of entertaining to watch the division on X for the few people that watched it. That is why it's already on my podcast, because I think because the title is funny. I think because they were using multiple different hashtags. I think just not very many people are watching it because it's from a small company. A lot of reasons. It flew well under the radar. Not popular at all. Super beautiful scenery though, and really lovely storytelling, except for a few key elements that I think could have been better. I kind of didn't like a few little things, but it was, yeah, right. There's a few elements that could have been better. But it was beautiful and made me so emotional. I mean, it took care of making a choice. Yeah, it took care of making a choice. That's the way to put it. Absolutely. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so one little thing about that show, I Promise I Will Come Back. I think, like, if you binged it and watched the first 10 minutes of it, you would realize that the first 10 minutes summarized the whole story, and you wouldn't have been surprised by the ending. Um, that bit is the bit that I think they could have done better. I think they needed to spend a little bit more time and linger a little bit more on that. And then there's the question. If you know at the beginning that it's not going to be happily ever after at the end, do you watch it? Like I was really thinking about that. I was like, if we know, will we still watch? And then it brought to mind all the various Thai series and other series that have like this element of a person falling in love with a ghost. I mean, you know that's not going to end well, right? But we watch that anyway. So maybe knowing and we still watch it isn't a bad thing. But I think knowing is necessary because if it comes out of left field, you tend to feel really betrayed by the writers of the story, right? Anyways, still number one. It pulled at my heartstrings 1000%. You knew it was going to take you out and you had expected a sad ending. Interesting. Okay, so I saw some other people expecting a sad ending, so I also expected a sad ending. And I just forgot why, because I forgot that that happened at the beginning of the show. For me, usually I won't watch it if I know it's going to end badly, but it depends on what exactly that ending entails. Okay, Katie, so there's one show for you, and that is Boys in Love in this lineup because the end the ending is really okay. Let me know, Katie. If you want significant spoilers, I'll tell you at the very end, and you can decide from there if you want to go through the journey or not. All right, so do we have more time? We do. We have a little bit more time. So I was thinking we'd talk about favorite scenes, favorite characters, favorite moments from the shows you've seen, those kinds of things. So this is our moment to talk about our favorites. And I was like, I wrote down like one, two, three. I wrote down five characters from all the shows. I couldn't pick. I don't think I'll watch it, so it's fine. Okay, we won't worry about it then. I couldn't like narrow it down. So I have five favorite characters. Juin from My Stubborn, Nankrai, and Don from I Promise I Will Come Back. Nankrai particularly, he is just really pretty to look at to start with. And honestly, his pining, his acting skills and his eyes and his ability, we all know almost from the very beginning how much he adores Ton. And then we also realize that Ton doesn't feel the same way, which is heartbreaking. And then I was into Dwin, loved him. He's awesome. And I was into Shane and Tan. Tan, the teacher Tan, and Shane is the like main narrative storyteller, right? Those two in Boys in Love particularly got me. Like Tan is, I don't know, in a way he reminds me of me a little bit when I first started teaching. He's a little bit like optimistic about everything. He wants to help everybody. I am with you, Katie. At this point, I avoid shows I know have sad endings. Ah, okay. That's why I'm happy for the redo and I promise I will come. Still ended kind of sadly, Yuritsa. Even with the redo in the series, it was still sad. But it ended the way he wanted it to end, I suppose, which was nice. All right, Chaz. So that means that I promise I will come back is not for you either. Um, it is a very, very sad ending. Juin is me, stubborn and immature. Okay, okay, okay. Tan is me because I'm the teacher and I remember being optimistic and like all about my students for a long time. It took me a while to separate it all out for sure. That's a good way to put it. Karma might be like I was trying to think about it and I was thinking about the Buddhist principles and like their goal is suffering, right? If you suffer, you've the more you suffer, the more likely you are to. Okay, I might be butchering this. Maybe I shouldn't say this because I didn't do the proper research. But I know that Buddhism, there is an element about suffering in Buddhism, and that's an important element in that religion. And so I feel like if I understood Buddhism better, I might understand. I promise I will come back better. A little bit. Absolutely. Okay. Uh, Dwin, Shane, Tan. Did anybody have a favorite from Boys in Love? I think that's the one that everybody's seen. That's the one that most people have commented on. Boys in Love was, there were a lot of characters, right? Okay. Oh, Per and Tar. The two boys who had the miniature story where I feel like those are the boys that were the most realistic teenage boys in the whole lot of them. Um, and I feel like they do have feelings for each other. That's just my humble opinion, but I don't think that relationship is going to come into fruition until they're adults. That's why we need a season 2 so we can watch them in college. The photographer and runner, I don't remember their names. That would be Per and Tar. Tar was my favorite character. Okay, I liked Kit. He seemed a shithead. Shit at the beginning, was actually a pretty good kid. Yes, Kit. He definitely had his moments there, didn't he? I Kit. Oh yeah, Kit. See, that's the problem when you have a Kit and a Kim in the same series. Kim was the one who had more irritating moments for me. Kit was the one who was the artist, right? Yeah, Kit was Shane's BF. Kit was super cute. Okay, one thing I liked about Boys in Love was that it one of my favorite parts of that series actually was the scene in episode 2 where Shane and Kit have their moment at the, what is that? That's like a, it's not paintball, it's laser tag maybe. The laser tag place, and I expected it to get interrupted and it didn't. And so I was like, good on you for taking a trope and throwing it on his head and giving us something fresh. A kiss that's uninterrupted at the beginning of the series? What is this nonsense? Yeah, so that was my favorite scene from that series. I think so too. Per and Tar will be the college pair. Maybe not at the beginning though. I feel like they're later in college. I feel like they're the couple that will make it and last because they will have grown up a little bit before they start. The rose at the end between Per and Tar was cute. Aw, that was cute. The laser tag kiss. Okay, actually, it's not too bad today. Oh my goodness. Not too bad at all. As far as like the lag between when you guys hear me say something and when you respond. For me, Per has had a crush on Tar for a very long time. Oh, perhaps. I, when they were both okay with the kiss, I knew that there was something there for sure. Absolutely. Aw. Those two boys. Oh, and okay, a scene between those boys that I found really hilarious was the scene where they were taking the photos of all the students for the yearbook. And like, oh, I get the two confused. Tar is the one that's not the runner, right? I hope so. We're gonna go with Tar. Oh, maybe I should. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna go with Tar. Tar is like setting up each photo carefully, and he's taking hours. And then Per takes over, and then like almost everybody's done by the time he gets back from the bathroom. It's freaking hilarious. I was like, what? What is this? Oh, so good. Okay. All right. Any other final favorite scenes from anybody? I'm trying to think if there's any more. I mentioned the stairwells. Oh, and the opening scene in My Stubborn and how like outlandish it was, which kind of hooked me because it was outlandish, oddly enough. Honestly, if Boat and Oat didn't have the chemistry that they had, I would have I would have been out. the two main leads in that series had no chemistry, and they were building this like kind of the way the words I want to use I cannot use on a live. Okay. Well, anyway, they were building this relationship together that was not based on romance or love at the beginning or friendship. That leaves only one thing. You guys can use your imaginations. Anyway, they were building this relationship, right? And if because it was based on that, if they didn't have the chemistry, the whole series would have been a no-go, right? We would have just been cringed out. It would have been like, nope, I'm out, right? So their chemistry is why that show worked, I think. It had a plot. The plot was about that. Yep, that was the primary plot. So if that's not your thing, yeah, that show won't work for you, right? Because that was the plot. In My Stubborn, when Soren went to confess to Juin in the warehouse, oh, so good. That part was really sweet. They did a great acting job in those warehouse scenes. I loved how unabashedly gay, bisexual the entire show and all the characters were. Yes. I loved me the bisexual representation actually, because that's where I fall, and it was nice to see that representation there. I have seen a recent choreographed scene between Boat and Oat on stage. Oh, okay. That is one thing, Chas. The end of the final episode fan meeting. If you haven't seen that scene between Boat and Oat that they were brave enough to share on stage, beautiful artistry, by the way. You should go watch it. They did a really fabulous job with that. Yeah. I think I'll leave it on that note. Go watch the thing between Boat and Oat on YouTube. Oh, and I don't know, for those of us in the United States who might happen to be closer to the West Coast or feel like flying because it's your favorite actors, I just found out today that Earth and Vix and Kristen Cincto are all going to be in LA on the exact same freaking day for a fan meeting in September. And it's the day after the Lycan concert. So, if any of those things make you excited as I am, here's your news. I think it is. Did I write it down for everybody? Possibly not, because okay, I feel like it's the weekend of September 14th. But let me. Yeah, it's the week of September 13th and 14th. So if those are your favorite actors, like they are mine, it may be worth it if you're here in the United States. All right, everybody. I hope they sell out too. I'm a little nervous about trying to get tickets. Wish me luck. Especially since I'm going to be at that Thai tasting event at this while I'm trying to get tickets on Monday. It's going to be a madhouse. Anyways, have a good couple of weeks, everybody, and I will see you on July 22nd. Oh, did I get tickets for the Lycan concert? No, I didn't. I'm considering it though. There are some resale tickets left. So if we'll see how it goes. I might. I might. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, have a good week, everybody. Talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you. Thanks, I will.